Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. This is Tiana with StoreyHausBooks, and if you can see it on camera, I don't know if you can, but I have got quite a mess going on this side of my craft table. This is my filming side, but tonight we're doing, or today, still daylight, we are doing part 3 of our new series, Create a Lapbook with Me 2.0. This is the new custom piece that I'm working on. And for those of you who are just joining and haven't seen the other first 2 videos, this is going to be used as a gardening / projects type of journal. It is a lap book. It is fairly large. So the first episode we did the cover, the structure, and then last episode we did the actual cover itself, and then we did the inside lining. Yeah. So now, tonight, I want to work on elements on one of the panels. So I want to work on this side tonight. That being said, I tried to plan some of this out. So I'm thinking, I've already decided on the back page here. So we're going to put this here. I've already obviously cut it to size and did some stitching around it, trying to save a little bit of time. And I've actually picked the pieces for all 4 of the main panels. I haven't decided if I'm going to cover the spines yet. We'll get there, but this this series is all about watching from start to finish and the whole process. Well, I will try to plan each video of what we're going to do. A lot of it's going to be from this shoot from the hip. That being said, this side is actually, like I said, this is the back piece I'm going to use. Behind it, we're going to have 2 flip outs here. We're going to do like this. But down here, we're going to have a waterfall of picture frames. Now, I've already, running out of space here. I've already picked out the frame sizes. This is what this is what I'm thinking. I'm going to just show it to you. So here we go. Let me make sure I'm in frame here. Look, I'm actually too far up. Let me raise up a little bit. There we go. Okay, so what I'm thinking is, this piece will go down, and then we'll have a waterfall of photo frames. Ignore the white piece of paper because I'm actually thinking about stamping these, and that's why I put that little back there. And then I put acetate on this one, but I've already obviously distressed these, inked them. But this is what I'm thinking. All the way up in 1/2-inch increments, roundabout. And they're just the right size for this panel as far as width, right? Because she did mention she wanted to be able to store photographs, right? Should we put one more? I think we could fit one more on there, maybe. We'll see. If I get this measurements right, or the positioning right, we might be able to fit one more. Yeah, I think we can. Bring this down. Because what I want them to do is just cover up the windows of the one underneath it. So if I do that, we have just enough room for another one. Okay, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, right? But that's not all. When you flip it, like so, okay, underneath the underside will be another smaller frame like this under each one. Now that is going to get probably bulky. I don't know. It should be fine, what I'm thinking. But so anyway, you flip it up, and you'll have another smaller picture frame underneath, right? And that'll be like that all the way down, right? That's what I'm thinking to do. So before we put these on, those are going to all be stamped or inked and all that jazz. Let's go ahead and put our flip outs on. So if you're going with my measurements and you're crafting along with me, I cut this back piece just to where it gives me a little bit of a border all the way around, yeah? And then the flip outs, I'm using a black cardstock. This is 85-pound cardstock here. I'm using black because, it's black and beige. But I am going to cover this. So I've got a couple pieces of paper here that I'm going to use for the front and back of the flip outs as well. And I'm probably going to stitch those too. So Let's go ahead and give you these measurements here. So this back piece here measures a little bit over 4. I'm sorry, 4 over 5 by 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 8 1/4. Okay, that's that piece. And again, I've already inked it and did the stitching. These pieces, I measured them. I didn't measure them with a ruler. I just measured where they would fall. So I wanted to cover this back piece completely. The gussets for it, for one piece, is, I don't know if you can see it, but I scored it at 3/4 of an inch for the flap, and then another 1/2 inch for the gusset on one. The second one is scored at 3/4 of an inch, and then another 3/4, okay, for the flap. So this one will be over the top of this one, just like this. Yeah, I picked those measurements because our spine, if you guys have been with me and have done folios with me before, you know that you have to keep your gussets in the range of your spine, right? So I'm only going to use half the spine for this part. So whatever these actually add up to can be no more than 3/4 of an inch. This is an inch and a half, and I'm only going to use half of that. So this side can't be any wider than 3/4 of an inch, right? There is some give there because, you know, we're going to put stuff in it, which is why this one is only a 1/2 inch and this one is 3/4 of an inch. That gives me a little bit of room in between the two to put some stuff in, right? And there's always going to be a little bit of gimme on the top and the bottom. I just got to be careful how much I pack it in here. So, all right, so that's the first part of this. The second part is I'm going to put small, tiny pockets, 6 of them here, that'll fit these little slides. She wanted to be able to store specimens. So I am going to put, these are die cut Tim Holtz slide pieces, and I used the Tim Holtz paper backdrops. I am going to put acetate back here, but I'm not going to put anything on it. I'm actually going to leave it as it is so she can put her own specimens in it and then close it on her own. But the pockets should be able to put these in, right? So that's what I'm thinking about doing. So there'll be 6 of those here on the inside of here, and that's as far as I've gotten so far as planning. Okay, so let's do that and see where we get at that point, right? So this should fit within here, right? And we're going to reinforce these gussets with some washi tape. So let's put some of this to the side, give myself a little bit of room here. This come out really pretty. I love this. Actually, I gotta decide which is gonna be the front. So I think this is gonna be the front because we're gonna cover this with this piece, right? It's going to be part of the cover, and I don't want to cover up that beautiful flower, right? So we'll do this one as the front. Okay. Alrighty. I don't know how long this video is going to be. I don't know how long I'll be able to do it today. I'm filming early because I needed this. You guys who've been with me for a while know that last September that I went through. Personal things happened. My husband and I split up, and we're still going through it, and it's not gotten any better for me. I feel like I'm in the exact same place I was last September, but it's like, you know what? The best thing for me to do is to get my happy place and work on my papers and be here with you guys. So I think I talk to you guys more than I talk to anybody else. So yeah, anyway, back to what we're doing. Focus. Alright, so this is the paper I'm going to use. Let me go ahead and fold this. So I'm wondering, should I put washi tape on first? Yeah, we'll put the washi tape on first. So this is the 1/2 inch side. Just going to go ahead and lightly British that. Not too hard just yet. Okay, so I grabbed just a little tub of washi tapes, my widest ones, because, you know, because this is 1/2 inch, and they're all going to be at least a 1/2 inch wide. All the gussets, at least a 1/2 inch up to 3/4 of an inch. So I grabbed some of my widest ones. I've got some Tim Holtz marbling here. I don't even know where I got some of these other ones. I think I got them from Temu or Amazon or something. Some Tim Holtz here, but I don't know if this is going to be wide enough to work with. So I just grabbed some random stuff, right? Let's see, 1/2 inch. So this is probably not going to work. Nope, that's not wide enough. I think this would be wide enough because, you know, I do stitch down my washi tape also just to make sure it stays. So this could work, and I like this. So that, what I'm going for is, I'm going vintage on this. She did give me creative freedom. She told me something she likes and what she dislikes. I'm just going with my gut on this. So we'll see where it goes. Right now I'm going vintage on here and kind of grungy. So which is why I'm leaning towards a lot of the Tim Holtz stuff right now, right? So I got this right here. I've got a lot of this marbling, but I kind of want to make it a little more eclectic. So I think we're going to mix it up and use a lot of different things that we can, whatever different patterns. So I think I'm going to use this one here. This is Tim Holtz. I don't remember which collection this came from, so I'm sorry. I dumped it out. I lost it. It comes in these containers like this, and I have no idea where I put that container. So I have no idea which collection this came from. But it's got like ledger on it, and it's like pharmacy, some seals. I'm not sure which one this is. I really don't know. If you guys know or recognize it, let me know in the comments, and I'll post it up in the in the description. All right, let's grab some Fabri-Tac here. I'm gonna clean off some of this glue. It got really goopy last night when we were attaching the cover, the fabric cover and the batting. So it got pretty goopy. Oh, and I show you guys this again. You wonder why I have tape on here? My flippin' Sugar Bell bottle split again. Ugh. Can't believe it. I know I'm harping on that, but does anybody else have that problem? Is it just me? That it splits right where the writing is, and it's always right here. Anyway. It just irritates me. Okay, I'm just going to put a little bit of glue, not too much. And where's my glue spreader? Glue spreader. Just a little spread. It already evaporated. Look at that. It is warm in my craft area right now, sis. It is hot in Georgia today. Let's see. Let's go this way. This is actually the right side up. Well, it's going to be on the other side, so it would need to be this way. I guess it doesn't matter. It's in the spine. Nobody's going to read the spine, right? But they might. You never know. All right. Let's see if I can get this on here. This is just wide enough, so it's got to be in just the right spot, so I don't sew over the fold. I think that's it right there. Yep, that's it. All right, then we're just going to flip it over. I'm going to glue this little piece down. Double check, make sure I'm in frame here. You'll see this? Yes, you can. Okay. Do that. Press this piece down. Okay. Get that glue off there before I do any stitching. I have no idea I wonder how long this series is going to be. It's probably going to be pretty long. Because like I said, I'm going to be filming the most of the process. I mean, like I said, I'm going to try to plan what I can prior to, speed things up so you're not sitting here watching me think. But if I get stuck, I will pause it and come back when I've figured out what direction I'm going if I get stuck. Okay. You guys have seen me do this before. We're just reinforcing the spine. If you've never seen me do this before, I always reinforce the spine with washi tape of some sort, and I'll glue it down. And now I actually changed my process to where I sew it down as well, just so I know for certain that the washi tape won't come out, because the washi tape generally is not that sticky, and even if you glue it, if you don't get it all the way to the edge, you run the risk of coming up, and I don't want somebody getting something that I made and it just, I don't know. It's happened before. One of my clients, or actually she's a friend of mine now, told me that the washi tape was coming up, and I was mortified. So I decided to start sewing it down, be sure. All right, so we'll let that dry. And then we'll go do some stitching on that off camera. All right, let's do this one here. So I guess we'll do the stitching on the washi tape and then measure out the cover papers, stitch those, and then put those on. So then again, I'm wondering, so that's a lot of stitching on top of each other. So we stitch this, and then we put the cover page on top of that and stitch that. That's extra bulk that we may not need. So I'm wondering if I should just wait and stitch this to the page right down here, right? And then it's only one set of one stitch that I'm having to worry about. So I glue this piece down and then stitch around here and then stitch that piece as well. I think that might be a better idea, so we don't have stitching stacked up on top of each other, right? That might be a better idea. Yeah, we're gonna do it that way. Okay, so we'll get to that in a minute. Let's go put the washi tape and reinforce this spine here. Okie dokie, so we're gonna have to use something wider. I think I like this, and I have a little bit of it left. I don't know if it'll go all the way around. Should I risk it? I don't think it'll go. I don't think I have enough. This isn't wide enough. What else do I have? Do I have enough of this? I like this print, but I don't think I have enough of this one either. I'm afraid I'll pull it around and I'll be like out of it, right? That's just, ugh. Again, mortifying. Let's try, here's a marble one, but I'd rather do, let's see, I got a green marble in here. Let's try the green. Use some of that. All right, put some glue down here. Just a little, just so it'll catch. Right? And on the edges. It should definitely be just wide enough. Okay. Get on there. Oh, straighten up. I think we got it right there. Is that it? That'll do. That'll do. That'll do. Okay. Okay, we're just gonna flip this piece over. Rinse and repeat, right? Rinse and repeat. Let me get this glue off. Like I was saying in the other videos that you guys haven't seen yet, but maybe I should work on my editing and speed these parts up. But I'm talking, so it's kind of annoying, right? You hear me go all Mickey Mouse on it. So we'll just, if you guys want to fast forward through this, feel free. I'm not going to do it because I like to talk during this kind of stuff. And you might miss something that important that I have to say. You know what I mean? I might have something important that I have to say. And God forbid you miss that, me talking and yapping my gums. Okay. So here's some good news though. I went to the doctor today. And so I have, I'm a diabetic and was really overweight. So I started on Mounjaro, and which for me is the only thing that's ever worked. Long story short, I haven't been on a scale in forever. I just found it depressing. But so I went to my doctor today to do my blood work, right? And he always weighs me. I couldn't believe the scale. I thought it was broken. I've lost 45 pounds since I started taking Mounjaro. And I haven't been this, I don't want to say thin, but this is the lowest I've weighed since before my daughter was born, 18 years ago. And I mean, I know I was losing weight. I was like, wow, I can see my collarbones again. And I was fitting into clothes. Like, I had this one dress that I bought as like motivation for myself. It still had the tag on it. I've had it for like 10 years. And I'm actually finally able to fit in it. So yeah, I'm down 45 pounds since September. I'm sure some of that had to do with my breakup, but I'm sure Manjaro has helped it as well, because it has changed my eating habits. So I'm not affiliated with them in any way. I'm not sponsored by them, but it has worked for me, obviously. I'm sure my other medications have helped as well, because I also have ADHD, so I do take medication for that, so I'm sure that has helped with my weight loss as well. But yeah, I'm totally stoked. I mean, I've been, kind of excited to see the doctor, because I wanted to see how much weight I lost, and I never thought I didn't think I lost this much. So, yay me on that. I'm like 5 pounds away from what my goal was for the year. I wanted to lose 50 pounds this year, so I'm almost there. All right, so we got the spines reinforced with our washi, and we decided that instead of, since we're going to stitch the washi down to make sure it stays down, and then we have the cover paper that we're going to stitch as well once we cut it, instead of having stitching and then stitching on top of stitching, and adding bulk for no reason, I'm actually going to cut this and glue it down and stitch it to the page. Okay, that way we don't, and then we'll just have one row of stitching here where they overlap, versus having two on top of each other and then running the risk of actually separating, right? Okay, so in that case, I'm going to decide which papers to wear. So I'm going to put this on the inside and then this stuff on the outside. Yeah. So I am going to not measure this. We're just going to use our eyeballs and a pencil. And again, I want to leave a thin border all the way around. So that looks about where I want it. And I want it to overlap here. So where is the fold? Right there. Okay, I want to be able to see that. There's the fold. So if we want it to go here and then overlap the washi tape enough to where we stitch over it, right? But not over the fold. That's going to be the tricky part. I've never done it this way before, so this is new for me too. I think that's straight, right? Is that straight, you guys? There we go. That's good. So that's the fold. Then we'll cut it right in front of the fold, right? And then we'll stitch across that way, right? So it'll be like this. Okay, and down here at the bottom, leaving another thin border here. Let me straighten this up. I'm going to cut, I want to say that's like a 1/8 of an inch from the bottom. Yeah? All right, let's try that first. And then I should have enough paper left over on this side to cover the other flip out. So let's line this up here. I actually want this blossom stuff on there, so maybe I should cut it from that side. Yeah, I do need to do that. Probably should have measured the other one to save some time, but I didn't, so I want to double check something anyway, because I want the blossoms actually on here. So let's measure, cut this top part off, right? So I'll go here. And then there. Okay, right underneath that G. Okay. Let's go ahead and measure the other one while we're doing that, and then we can cut at the same time. Alright, so this one will go here. And I think I want the lady on here also. Actually, I like the little boy. So we'll leave the little boy in a part of her head at the bottom. Alright, there's that fold right there. So we want it to overlap the washi tape a little bit, but not cross the fold, right? Okay, so we're gonna go right there and there, and about that far from the edge. And Let's say about this far from the bottom. That ought to do. Okay. So let's cut both. Right. And where did I measure? Up here. Okay. There it is. Flip it around this way. It's easier to cut. Alright, just stacking up the scraps over there. And this one, where's that area? Right where that little G is. Okay, here we go. I will try to keep our videos around an hour, or at least to a, logical stopping point, right? Okay, so this one goes over here, because this one will open this way, and then this one will go on this side. I guess we might as well do the outside of the covers too, right? And just sew it all at once, right? Probably make the most sense. Where's that fold? Is that too much? Sorry, I'm trying to make sure I didn't cut it too wide, so I don't want it to impede the fold, right? Okay, so we're good. All right, yeah, we need to go ahead and measure the outside as well. All right, so if this one goes this way, right? That one goes over here, that one goes over here. So it'll be this direction that we need to put the other ones on. That's why I make sure that since it's text, that it's in the right direction, yeah? All right, so that's that. Still in frame, good. Okay, so there's the fold there, right there. I'll just do this and make it easier so I can see where the fold is, right? Okay, so we'll do here to here. Yeah, make this a little bit narrower. All right, so we'll cut here and here for that one. And then for this one, just fold it down so I can see where that fold is. We're also going to overlap the washi tape as much as we can. Just enough for that stitch to grab it. So we're going to do zigzag. This makes the most sense, I think. All right there, I think is good. Okay, and then right about here and there. All right, let's cut the outside pages, or the outside cover pieces. And then I will pause while I go do some stitching and inking. And then we'll come back to put all this together. And hopefully it works out as well in my head, or works out as well on paper as it does in my head. Let's hope, right? I hope. Alright, so I want to mix up the papers. And this one here, we're cutting right there. And here. I actually got these papers on Temu, and they're actually not too bad. They're about the thickness of like Kofi, a little bit thicker than copy paper. I would say like 24 pound, definitely thicker than 20 pound. That's like, your standard. I always use 24 pound just because when you're dyeing it or working with it, I just like it better. It just feels firmer and stronger, sturdy, whatever. And also the ink doesn't bleed through it as easily as it does with 20 pound. That's what it has, as heavy it is. And the image actually on it, sometimes I've gotten stuff from Temu and it's been like really faded, or you can tell that it's like a, it's really poor quality as far as the image is concerned. But this is actually not too bad. So yeah, that's where I got these, if you're wondering. Okie dokie, so here's what we've got for the tops of these flaps here. This one will go here. I'm just gonna glue these down and then we'll go stitch them so they don't move, right? Make it easier for me to stitch them around. Okay, so now here's my dilemma. Okay, so so if I stitch both of them, because I'm wondering what it's going to look like if I've got the reverse side on this side. I'm thinking. So, in other words, if I stitch, you know, this on the outside and then this one on the inside, right, after I glue them down, one side is going to have that reverse stitching on it, right? Which is fine, I think. Will be fine. But it does leave up those, that it does raise up the paper where the stitch comes through, where the needle comes through. And do I want to see that? Like that. Or I want it flat. I want it flat. So, okay, let's see. Alright, here's what we're going to do. I'm going to stitch these individually around 3 sides, okay? Then we're going to glue them down, right? And then I'll stitch where it overlaps the washi, so we had just the one stitch, and then I'll stitch on the other side of the washi tape, right? That gives us the least amount of overlap without having that underside stitching on one side all the way. Yeah, okay. So again, I'm going to take these papers and stitch on 3 sides, the 3 sides that do not overlap the washi, and then we'll glue them down, both of them, right? And then I'll stitch one time down this side of the washi, which will grab both sides, that 4th side, and then stitch this one, like on the other side of the washi tape. Yeah? Okay. Alright, so let me go do that. Alright, so I'm going to pause while I go do the stitching, and I'll come back, okay? Be right back. Hold up. Okay, guys, I'm back. I want to show you what I've done so far. So I've inked all 4 pieces, and I did the stitching on 3 sides. What I'm going to do next is I'm actually going to attach these to the flip outs, and then I'm going to go off camera again and sew this last edge and then the washi tape down. Okay, so I guess you guys can watch me glue glue things down. So I think, do I have my double-sided tape? I think I want to use double-sided tape. I'm thinking. Thinking. Okay, this is where we're going to pause while I'm thinking. Okay, guys, I am going to use double-sided tape on the 3 sides. I'm not going to put anything here. I'll put regular glue there. Probably use... we're going to use art glitter glue. We'll use art glitter glue here. And then we'll sew here and here. Yeah, okay. All right. I am going to snip off the threads underneath because they just end up hindering double-sided tape if you're using double-sided tape. And this is score tape. It is in my list of supplies in the description. Start down here. I'm not going to put it on this unstitched side because I don't want that adhesive to get in my sewing machine. I'm going to limit that as much as possible. It still will hit it a little bit on the ends, but not all the way down. And this way I know these edges will stay down flat. Or I feel like they will. With the glue, you may or may not get all the way to the edge, and I don't know. I was going with my gut on this one. My gut said grab the tape, to be sure. But I always use tape in conjunction with another glue, because once you put this tape down, it sticks and you can't reposition without ruining the paper. So I still use like Fabri-Tac over the top of it, which I guess we'll just use Fabri-Tac instead of art glitter, because I want to be able to reposition this. It gives me a little bit of time to reposition stuff if I have to. Yeah, so it's one of the reasons I do that. One of the reasons, the main reason. It hasn't steered me wrong yet. But I guess, you know, all artists are different. Some people do it their, you know, different ways. I've seen some artists who do use nothing but double-sided tape. I don't do that. I just don't. Because it can break down over time. So certain things I won't use double-sided tape on. Anything that, you know, is going to bear any kind of load, or you know, it'll break down over time and it'll come apart. So I always back it up with something else. Okay, where is my little tool? Here you are. Alright, so we'll do that in a second. Okay, I know this has got to be boring as heck to watch. So I will pause here. Let me go, I'll tape it. Yeah, so I'll tape it. You know what, let's just go with it. You're going to have to watch. Just watch me do it. I mean, geez. Just forget, I want to see the, you know, this is the idea was to watch the whole process, right? So, see what I'm doing, why I'm doing it. Each step. Okay. I was looking for this one. This is my other squirt tip. Just realized I'm almost out. Well, not almost out. I've got 2 more full rolls of this, but it seems like I had more. I mean, I get 5 at a time. The link is in my description box. It's the most economical I find as far as cost. I get 5 rolls at a time. Just like with my glue stick, I buy 5 at a time. I found a deal on Amazon that's very reasonable. And I also found a deal for my Fabri-Tac. I'm gonna go ahead and double check the link and make sure it's the one I use now. But I get 2 full-size 8-ounce bottles of Fabri-Tac for less than $20 on Amazon with this one vendor. So I will double check that link and see if it's the right one. I mean, 2, you know, usually it's like $16 or $17 for this one 8-ounce bottle. Not, you know, much less 2 bottles for $19.99, I think it is. Okay, let's get that off of there. Come on. And this one. Alright. Please feel free to fast forward through the taping process. You are not hurting my feelings. I know some of this is the boring stuff. Well, when I get to the decorating part, let's do the fun stuff. I would love to do the fun stuff. But all this other stuff has got to be done first. Make sure we are, you know, giving her something or making, you know, I'd hate to make something for somebody that, you know, I don't know, I just want it to be the best that I can make it, that I know how, you know, and that, you know, fortunately, is a lot of behind the scene work that's, you know, not as exciting as decorating and making cool pockets and cool flip outs. It's, you know, making sure everything stays together, right? And that they can actually use what I'm making for them, you know, make sure it's practical, right? And not just pretty. I mean, of course you want it to look good, but we also want it to be sturdy and structurally sound, right? I like to make things people can actually use and not just put on the bookshelf. While I have made, I call them table books, table journals, which are like huge, you know, monstrosities that are, I call them looking at books. You know, if you're from the South, you know that term, looking at. Like you have looking at soap, you don't know, you know, it's the fancy soap in the bathroom. You know, you don't use that. Looking at towels, those are just for show. You don't touch those. So in the South, most of us know that term. That's the looking at soap. Well, I make looking at books. They're not meant for hardcore journaling or, you know, they're just look pretty. Looking at books. Okay, and cut these off. Oops. Come on. Separate the pieces. Ouch. What else is going on? So, well, like I said, I'm going through it again with this, separation / divorce, whatever. So I need a personal day. I just, it's affecting my work, and I don't know how to get around that. I thought if I threw myself into my work, I could use it as a distraction, but all that's happening now is I'm so distracted that it's affecting my ability to work, and I can't have that. Too many people depend on me at my job to do what I need to do. I'm a project manager, so I have to, do my job, and make sure projects are planned properly and the project goes off without a hitch. We deliver on time and people get their software implemented properly and whatnot, under budget preferably. And so yeah, this has been affecting that. And I cannot lose I can't lose my job. I love where I work. I love the company. If I had my choice, I'd retire from there. And it is a high-paced environment. They do expect a lot, but they take care of us in other ways, right? So, and my boss, I love my boss. I've known her forever, and she is just, she's amazing. I love my boss, and my boss's boss. But yeah, I can't have this distracting me from my job. I just can't have that. And I don't know how to, keep it from distracting me from my job. So that's something I'm struggling with. So I decided to take a personal day tomorrow to, rest my mind, and I don't know. I felt like I needed to not be at work and where the expectation is for me to do things, and I just sit there and I go into I get frozen, and that's part of my ADHD, that I'll get overwhelmed with things, either with work or emotionally right now, and I freeze up, and it's like a deer in headlights, and I get nothing done. So it's been a struggle. The other thing is, if I had my choice, I would do this all day. This I can do, without any problem. I can do this for hours and hours and hours, and be completely content. But my day job, it's just such a chore for me now. And I like what I do, but now it's like I get a physical reaction from just doing the job, and I haven't always been that way. So that's the other stuff I'm dealing with. Okay, so we got the tape on, and we're going to go ahead and glue them down, right? And then I'm going to take them and finish the stitching. Okay, let's see, how are we doing on time? We are, okay, oh, this is taking longer than I thought it would. But, step by step. It's a process. Trust the process. Okay, this one's going to go here on this side. Nope, wrong one. This one. I did these kind of backwards, but that's okay. It'll still work. It'll still work the way I want it to. I'm probably going to round the corners after I glue these on. Alright, so let's go ahead and pull the tape. And then add our Fabri-Tac to it and put it down. Now remember, I say this all the time, but if you're using double-sided tape, once you lay it down, you have to go back over it and make sure it's, you have to squish it down, otherwise it'll come right up. It won't stick, by the way. And even then, sometimes it comes up like it did right there. Okay, here's one. Okay, and I'm going to put Fabri-Tac on the actual stitching, or on the actual tape, and that's what gives me a little bit of time before the glue, or before the tape catches, to reposition if I have to. I'm not putting a lot, just a little, very little bit. Okay, there we go. It's getting stringy. And then I'm putting it on. Okay. Trick here is to make sure I overlap the washi tape just a smidge. So when I go and sew it, I grab both materials, right? To secure them both. Okay. Let's bring this over here and up a little. Okay, I'm just positioning it so that everything is even. Okay, I think almost got it. All right, I think we're good. Right there. All right, now I'm going to press down and set the tape. And take my bone folder and just run it across the paper. Not too hard because I don't want to tear the paper, but just to spread out that glue just a little bit. I need to clean this bone folder. It's all sticky. I don't want to tear the paper. Let's just use my fingers here. Pressing down that tape, making sure that it's down flat, especially in the corners there. All right, and that one's ready to sew. Well, nope, gotta do the inside here. All right, let's do. Nope, that's upside down. This one, yes. Okay. All right, just making sure that tape is down, giving it a nice little squish. Right. Let's try to move a little faster here. Come on, you're not helping me here. Work with me, tape. One. Come on. Come on. There we go. So you want to go faster, and it's making me go slower. There we go. Thin bead all around top of the tape, and the edges, and here. All right, and then we'll put this one down. Okay. Let's see here. Make sure I don't get my strings in the glue. Right. Let's see if we can get this down and positioned in the right spot. Careful not to get on the fold. All right, I think we're good right there. Okay. Commit to that. Pressing down on the tape. And the glue itself. All right, this one is ready to go back to the sewing machine. Let me get some of this glue off here. It's seeped out. I always say get that glue off as soon as possible. You don't want to sit too long. The longer it sits, the harder it is to get off. Remember that. Get it off as soon as you see it, is my advice. Okay, any more glue seeping out anywhere? I don't think so. I think we're good. All right, that one's good. All right. Okay, I'm going to do the other three flips, and then go sew those, and I'll be right back. All right, you guys, we're back. Okay, so finish the stitching on the flaps here. Okay, so everything is stitched all the way around. Finish stitching on the washi tape. Make sure it was secure. And we are good to start attaching these. I think I might round the corners, maybe later. I don't know what I'm doing right now. I might leave it the way it is. Oh, let me get this glue off here. I didn't see it before. Did I miss any more? I don't think so. Hope not. I'm really anal about that. I hate when people leave that glue juice everywhere. So it looks untidy. Okay, I get it all? No. Jeez. Come on, Tiana. Pay attention to what you're doing. Alright, let me double check again. Jeez, crazy. Somebody needs new glasses. I mean, there's glue all up and down this side that I didn't see. Okay, I think that's one. Let me check the other one real quick before I glue it down. Get all the glue. I gotta like move it in the light so that, you know, reflects the glue. It's on there. Okay, a little bit right there. Okay, let's flip it over real quick. I think we're good. And I did see, oh, you see where the white of the core of the paper came out a little bit in the stitching, so let's ink that up real quick. I want to see that white core of the paper, so I'm just going to take my dauber and run it over that real quick, and it'll disappear. Like, it's like magic. Yep, okay, make sure it's not any on the other side. Alright, let's check this one for the core coming out. Yep, a little bit there too, so let's just run our distress ink over that, and that will disappear. Did I see any more anywhere? Okie dokie, I think we're good. Okie dokie, artichoke. Alright, now, we're going to put these on first, and then we'll put the backing paper on. I did go ahead and miter the flap here, and I'm going to glue it right up to the fold here, or the hinge gap, but not past it, right? I just want to make sure that I still have enough room for this guy. So this actually is measured to where I've got a pretty good border all the way around. So I'm thinking I might glue down the middle part. That way I know exactly where to put my flaps. Yeah, let's do that. Let's be smart. Okay, so let's glue down the center. Yeah. Goober. Yeah. And then we'll put the flaps on, yeah, and glue down each side. This way we know for sure this piece has plenty of room for it, and that we don't glue down the flaps in too tight, right? All right, let me make sure I've got clearance on the top and bottom here. All right, I think we're good right there. Okay, right there. That's good. Don't move. Darn it. It moved. Okay, now, just gonna press this down, like so. Okay, now that piece is in. Now let's do the flaps here. So let's do the smaller of the two first. And I'm gonna do, let me give this gusset a nice good burnish here. Get that nice tight fold in that crease. All right, here we go. And it goes this way. Make sure I put plenty of glue on the stitching. So make sure that sticks well. Okay, here we go. This is going to go underneath this backing paper, is the idea here. Yeah? Okay. Okay, I want to go up to the fold but not on it so it doesn't impede the folding. I got plenty of room on the side, so we're good. Here, let's give it a little bit of room. There we go. That's plenty of room. Perfect. All right, let's make sure the top and bottom are even. And we're going to press down here and okay. that looks good there. I'm going to pull it out just a smidge right down here at the bottom and in the middle. There we go. Alright, I'll just take my little scoring tool here and press down on that flap. Looking good. Alright, now I'm going to go ahead and glue down this side of this paper here. It looks like it's already sticking here. Alright, so pull this up a little bit. And we're gonna just do this little number. Okay. Let that drop down. Okay, just give that a nice press as well. Make sure those edges are down, nice and flat. Don't worry about the glue coming out. We can always get rid of it. It's all right. Okay. And I'll take my scoring tool here and just press down some more, back and forth on the edges. So we really want to make sure that those get down. So I'm super anal about that. I can't stand it when I see an edge come up. Alright. Let's let that sit for a second and then we'll go over it again once it dries up a little bit. And then we'll get rid of any glue that's come out as well. Okay? Alright. I think we're good though. Okay. Yeah. Glue on my fingers. Thread sticking to me. Alright. Let's fold that across and let that sit there. Alright. Actually, let's open it up here. Okay. Let's do the other side here. And let's get the glue on this one. Make sure it's upright. Yeah. Look, this got errant threads just sticking to me. Actually, let's do the burnish. No more burnish here with our scoring tool real quick, just to make sure we got a nice tight fold, a nice beautiful tight crease here. Okay. All right. Cool. All right. Alright, there we go. And again, underneath the backing paper here. Let's try to do this without making a mess, huh? Good luck, Tiana. Not making a mess. Uh-oh. Okay. Just drop this down. Making sure I am not in that gap over here. Whew, that's super close. Thought I had plenty of room here. Did I not? Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry, you guys. I didn't mean to bump you. But I feel like I might be too close to the edge here. And I think oh man, I'm like right on it. Okay. Let me see if it's gonna... Oh, that's just too close. Okay, let me see if I can move this over a little bit. Alright, thank God. Oh, on Fabri-Tac. Let go. There we go. Alright, we're gonna move this guy over because we've got some room over here. I'm gonna move it to the edge some more. I think I caught that. That we use Fabri-Tac so we can reposition if we have to, like we're doing right now. Okay, we'll bring it all the way to the edge here. All right, press down again. Paper needs to be repositioned as well. Come on up, come up, come up. Come on, there you go. And we'll just put some more glue on this one here. Okay, put it back down, get these threads out of the way. Let's try this again. Where's the fold? There's the fold. Come on, sweetie. Work with me here. Come on, you can move over some more. Come on. There we go. All right, all the way up to the fold line, not on it. There we go. Okay. I think we're good now on this side. All right, let's just press this down and then move this in some more. So now we got some more room. There we go. All right. Now we're good. Okay. Now we got plenty of room. Let's get this thread out of here. Oh, great. That's got glue on it now. I have to cut all that off. All right. Let's add some glue here again so we can reattach this piece. Yeah. Okay. So much for not making a mess, eh? Oh, come on, threads, get out of there. All right. Okay. Well, we've got a mess of glue to clean up for sure, but good news is that we are where we need to be, and we're not in that hinge gap, which would have been kind of a little more than a bummer. All right. All right. This looks good over here. Press this down some more. Oh, what a mess of glue. Now, all right, threads, I'm going to cut all that off. It's got glue on it now, and it will just be a pain later. Let me glue this corner down. Okay, I think we're good. Alrighty. So here are our flaps now. Are in. And I will start getting rid of this glue. I'll do this all off camera so you don't have to watch me clean up my gluey mess that we got here. But anywho, I think we'll stop there. We're at an hour and we've got our first flaps done. I think they look pretty good. So our next video, we will actually work on the inside here. We will put down our waterfall. We'll probably do some stamping on those picture frames first. Then we'll do our waterfall piece, and then we'll work on this side with the slides, right? And then I'll plan out what goes on the rest. So what you should have with those gussets there, this one's a 1/2 inch, this one's the 3/4 inch. That's how much space I've got, right? In between. So I've got a 1/2 inch here, and then I've got another 1/4 inch in between these two fold outs, right? Or flip outs, right? And then I have, room on top. So that's what it should look like from the top. It looks like we need to do some inking right there. It may not stick because of the Fabri-Tac being there. You can't ink over Fabri-Tac glue. It will not stick, by the way, if you did not already know that. I'm going to take a marker to that. But, anywho, I'm going to let this dry and not play with it too much. And then I'll start taking the glue off. But I will see you guys in the next video. If you are new to our channel, please hit the subscribe button. I'd love to have you as a subby. And hit the bell, and you will get notified anytime I upload new content. In our description, we will have, there is a link to our Etsy store. Go check that out. And also a link to our Kofi site where there is some free ephemera for you guys to download. Don't forget to vote in the comments on what you guys want for the next piece of free ephemera. I showed it to you guys in the last video, and I'll show it again in this one more time. And where did it go? There we go. Okay, so again, 2 pieces of free ephemera. You guys get to pick which one you guys get. First one is a 1940s sewing guide. It's a pretty large piece here. You get front and back. I'll scan the whole piece. There's that one. This is my mother's pattern. And then there's this book page, old book page that I got in a haul. I got this from, I think I got this from Germany. But I'm not sure what the language that is. But you get front and back of this Beautiful aging, beautiful coloring on the pages. So you guys let me know which one you guys would like, and one with the highest votes wins, right? Okay, so that is it for tonight. I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.